I'm going to get you to do the talk.
All right. I hope everyone can hear me and it's coming through fairly clearly. Today I'm going to talk about a book that I've had for many years, and it was actually written over 20 years ago by Gary Zunak, I think. It's called Soul Stories. And I'm going to read a couple of the soul stories from out of his book. The Earth School. The Creator gathered all of creation and said, I want to hide something from the humans until they are ready for it. It is the knowledge that they create their own reality. Give it to me, said the salmon. I will hide it at the bottom of the ocean. No, said the Creator. One day they will go to the bottom of the ocean and they will find it. Give it to me, said the bear. I will take it into the mountains. No, said the Creator. One day they will dig into the mountains and they will find it. Give it to me, said the eagle. I will take it to the moon. They will never find it. No, said the Creator. One day they will go to the moon and they will find it. Then Grandmother Mole rose. Everyone became quiet. They knew that although she had no physical eyes, Grandmother Mole lives in the breast of Mother Earth and sees with spiritual eyes. Put it inside them, she said. It is done, said the Creator. We have to look inside of ourselves. There's part 2. It was a grey winter afternoon. The black sleek car was travelling 50 miles an hour when it hit the ice. Like a graceful dancer, it began a slow horizontal pirouette as it slid towards the steep embankment and then disappeared over it. Inside, the young woman screamed as the car rolled again and again, like a ball careering down and spinning at the same time. That woman was my sister. 100 miles away, an older woman with grey hair suddenly rose out of her chair. Something has happened to Gail, she gasped. The phone rang 40 minutes later. Your daughter has been in an accident. She is not hurt badly, but the car was destroyed. How could have this happened? How could the woman who rose in alarm, my mother, could not see her daughter struggling for her life as the car crashed again and again against the frozen ground and into a barren tree? She could not hear the bending of metal or the shattering of the glass or feel the impact. She did not have to. She used multi-sensory perception. Multi-sensory perception is a direct link between information that the 5 senses cannot provide. It eliminates the distance between the one who knows and what she knows. It eliminates the time between them. My mother did not need the phone, the police to tell her what had happened. She knew. She engaged another way of knowing. The businessman, late for his plane, drove his car into the airport parking. The first level was full and so the second. Up and up he went along the narrow ramp and becoming increasingly worried with each level. As he entered the last level, he suddenly stopped. A large sedan came speeding around the corner going the wrong way. Neither one would have seen the other coming before the crash. How did he know that the car was coming? He could not see it, he could not hear it or smell it. His ability to taste or touch could not help him. This is also an example of multisensory perception. Multi meaning more than one, more than taste, touch, smell, hearing and sight. They are all different ways of sensing, but they are all part of a single system. That system is designed to detect one thing, the world that appears outside of you. If you only had 5 senses to navigate, you are limited to that system. When the brochure came in the mail, the woman didn't give it much thought. Of course, it was a course that was far too far away, too expensive, and not about the things that were most interesting to her. The next day she reread the brochure, and again the following day. She could not put it out of her mind, nor the feeling that she should attend. Without knowing why, she registered for the course, and the following week she was given extra shifts at work, and a friend who was also going was able to share the cost of getting there. The first day she met a man who was teaching about healing and the benefits. She had a passion in the healing process. With her assistance, they co-wrote a book on healing. Where did this impulse come from? She had two systems to provide her with that information. The first, her five senses, did not give her the information about what might happen at the conference. Another system did. The second system is multisensory perception. Having multisensory perception and using it to help you are different things. It's important to realize that we are all becoming multisensory. If you understand that, you will be looking for new ways to use this ability. Actually, it's not a new ability. What is new is that everyone is now getting into it. In the past, we called this ability by another name. You can find your way by paying attention to what is happening inside of you. That is the biggest difference between five sensory perception and multi-sensory perception. The five senses require you to pay attention to what is happening outside of you. Intuition requires the opposite, that you pay attention to what is happening inside of you. Listening to your intuition is like listening for the sounds of the whales in the ocean. It's there if you take the time to listen for it. And when there isn't so much other noise that you can't hear it. When you're angry, your emotions are like huge waves during a storm. You cannot hear your intuition. When you are sad or jealous or vengeful, you can't hear your intuition then either. These emotions are too turbulent. Trying to hear your intuition when you are upset is like trying to hear a friend on the phone when people in the room are dancing to loud music or cheering at a football game on the TV. Your friend is speaking, but you can't hear her. Now we have discovered the secret. Using multi-sensory perception requires looking inside yourself. How could you ever find this secret with your five senses? You couldn't. They are designed to look outwards. Everything that they detect is outside of you. Even when your body hurts, it hurts because of something outside of you, like some food that you ate or a hammer that you hit your finger. Eating different foods and keeping that hammer away from your finger solves a problem. This is how we learn to solve problems. The five senses provide information about things that are outside of you. You think about the information and then you act differently. If you did not, you would keep creating the same consequences, like hurting your finger. When you make that connection between the hammer, your finger, and the pain, you change the way you do things. Now that we are becoming multisensory, we have information about what happens inside us as well as what happens outside of us. Insight and hunches become part of the picture. If you take into account only what happens outside of you, you are not seeing the whole picture. Believe that you have intuition and believe that it works. You can't stop your intuition from working, but you can stop listening to it. Believe that when you ask a question, you will always get an answer. The answer may not come when you think it should or in the way that you expect. It may come down to that night in a dream, the next day or next week, or when you take a walk or a drive into town when you can relax enough to hear it. Your answer will always come if you are listening. Non-physical teachers do not tell you what to do. They help you to see your options, help you think through your choices. They guide you to the fullest use of your life. You are still the boss. You decide what is best for you and what is not. The more you use your intuition, the more you will see how life is constructed and what it is telling you. Knowing and trusting that intuition can be very difficult at times. I'm sure that most of us have felt it and ignored it. But it's important to realize that we all have it and we need to listen to it more. As well, can you imagine having witnessed something, but if you don't feel anything on the inside, how it changes your perception? So making the connection between the outside world and what is inside. of us makes us grow and be better human beings. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
It went all quiet. I couldn't hear anything. I thought, I finished now.
I had everybody on mute. I muted the mute system to make sure nothing comes across what we're doing.
There's a lot of background noise.
No, that was good.
Yeah.
You found anything? Sorry? Found anything?
We're watching in a seminar at the moment.
What?
We're doing a seminar. We'll just
Use a mute for a minute again. But no, that was great. And I'm sure people can really remember when they've all ignored their intuition. Their intuition, you suddenly have something else. Not sure where the music is already. So you're right, because if you forget to use your intuition, you end up, you can end up or you ignore it. I remember having a car accident once when I knew I shouldn't be doing something, but I just ignored it and I was in a hurry and just piled in the car. And the other time when I allowed my intuition to guide me was turning up at the party where I met Liz, which everyone knows the consequences of. So it's one of those things. I'll tell you what, we'll move on to doing the meditation now. Thanks, that was really good, Sue. And you came over clearly, by the way. And I'll start the meditation off. If you'd just like to get yourself settled